forward. God shapes his men with the hammer of adversity and the chisel of discipline. Here's the story of a rowdy young man who, though raised with Christian values, failed to turn them into virtues until he found himself locked in the vice of God's love. When Chad Williams realized his dream of becoming a Navy SEAL, one of the toughest accomplishments in the military, what he had thought would bring fulfillment offered only greater emptiness. Then one day he heard a message from the Bible about another military man, a man not unlike Chad, whose life was radically transformed by God. His story is now Chad's story, as both of them found that the greatest achievement in life is to discover what we were created for. You will be riveted by Chad's amazing story, from his trouble-filled days as a competitive skateboarder in the beach city where he was raised to the front lines of combat as a U.S. Navy SEAL. It's my hope that this book will inspire readers to find God's purpose for their lives too. Greg Laurie, Senior Pastor, Harvest Christian Fellowship, Riverside, California. Chapter 1. Thinking Big. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. Proverbs 16:9. I want to become a Navy SEAL. Dad didn't say anything immediately, but his facial expression did. Are you really serious? This was the most important conversation I had ever had with my dad. We talked for 45 minutes, perhaps an hour, with me sitting on my parents' bed and him sitting at his desk next to me. It felt like we talked forever. The more we talked, the more Dad could see how serious I was. Dad is the studious type. He considers all the options, then makes well thought-out, informed decisions. I definitely didn't inherit that trait from him. Dad wanted me to spend another year in college and take more time to think about what I wanted to be when I grew up. He pointed out the reasons why he believed I was rushing into my decision. You didn't stick with baseball. You didn't stick with skateboarding. You didn't stick with sport fishing. You're not good with authority, and you want to go into the military? I didn't tell Dad that I had known I wanted to become a SEAL for all of a few days now, or that I had reached my decision while spinning my truck in 360s across an empty parking lot at my college, where I had started the morning by drinking and smoking marijuana, or that after I decided that morning to become a SEAL, I had skipped all of my classes, again. That conversation with Dad ended like most conversations with my parents, on my terms. I marched out of the bedroom and down the hallway, dismayed once more that I wasn't being trusted, that my judgment was being doubted, that I was being doubted. I didn't need anyone else to doubt me, because I was already doubting myself. I was beginning to feel like a loser. The money I had made from sport fishing and filming skateboard commercials was running out. I was making bad grades, and I was sick of college. I was quickly becoming just another guy fresh out of high school who drank, smoked weed, and went surfing. Once the popular thrill-seeking life of every party, I now feared I wouldn't amount to anything. I needed to do something big, and nothing sounded bigger than becoming a Navy SEAL. I'd considered becoming an Alaskan crab fisherman or a coal miner because I heard those were two of the world's most dangerous occupations. But the SEALs sounded far more interesting. They shot exotic weapons, they were demolition experts, they jumped out of airplanes into combat, and they conducted covert underwater operations. Sea, air, and land. That's why they were called SEALs. They did it all, and they did it everywhere. My mind was made up. And all my life, when I had set a goal in my mind, nothing and no one could stop me. I had, however, developed a habit of stopping myself. All or nothing. My dad was right that I hadn't stuck with baseball, skateboarding, or sport fishing. In my mind, though, I hadn't quit or given up on any of those. Instead, I reasoned with myself. I had simply grown tired of them and had moved on to the next thrill. I was always a competitive kid, and baseball was my first sport. I started playing in T-ball leagues and made the all-star teams as I progressed through the different age levels. I pitched and played shortstop, and every day after my dad got off work, he and I would jump the fence to a schoolyard behind our house. Until the sun went down, I would pitch to Dad and he would hit me ground balls, or he would pitch to me so I could practice my batting. When my brother Todd became old enough, he joined us too. It's a good thing Todd was 2 years younger than me, because he turned out to be extremely talented. Despite the age difference, he was right behind me talent-wise, pushing me. Except being the best wasn't as important to Todd as it was to me. Winning or losing didn't make or break his day. The best way to describe the difference between us and sports is that Todd loved to win and I hated to lose.